All right, welcome into the Third and Wrong YouTube channel again. Today, we are going to do a special Colts video. As you can tell right up in here, dealing with the Colts is what I'm calling this. Where Gage and Mike are Patriots and Browns fans, this allows me to focus specifically on the Colts, which I like to do. And we got some big news. We finally have a head coach, and we'll give you a little information on that. But before we do, please drop a like, comment, and subscribe right now if you can. That definitely helps us out. We're starting to put out more content for this off season, so you definitely want to stay on for that. So do that real quick. It helps us out, helps you out because you get that premium content from us. But we're going to get into this video. All right, so as you might already know, we're about 2 to 3 days, maybe even 4 days if you consider the league, after the Colts have hired Shane Steichen as our new head coach. If you haven't already, I dropped a video before the hiring about who I would want the Colts to get for their head coach. And I did not have Shane Steichen in my top 5. Honestly, because I don't know these coaches individually, I'm not interviewing them. All we get is just tidbits of information from different reporters who have their own biases and their own reasonings for wanting certain people. So it's a little bit harder to really sift the wheat in that situation and know who would be the best person for the job. But what I did say is we don't need a coordinator. We need a head coach, and preferably someone that has strong leadership and has the ability to lead a locker room. And we did get an offensive coordinator. I don't think it really matters if he was an offensive, defensive, or a special teams coach. But what it does matter is his ability to keep accountability in the locker room and to help that locker room develop, grow, and become better than when they started the year and everything like that. And so it seems like we got that right, coach. Shane Steichen, when I first heard of it, I think Super Bowl morning is when it really kind of became a strong rumor that Shane Steichen was going to be our head coach. I was like, okay, that's kind of not the guy that I was hoping to get, like a Brian Callahan or before D'Amico Ryans got hired by the Texans, I wanted him and a few other candidates that we talked about. But I was like, okay, the Eagles have a good offense. And one of the things that I forgot is that Nick Sirianni gave up play calling. So that Shane Steichen could be the play caller. So the last year and a half, Shane Steichen has been the play caller for the Eagles, and they have seen very tremendous growth in their play game. Jalen Hurts has also seen a lot of growth as a quarterback, which is great. I know part of that is because Jalen Hurts is someone that's dedicated to being a better player, and you could see that was evident before he even got into the league. But you got to give credit to Shane Steichen. He has changed his offenses around his players, and that's one thing that I think makes him a great head coach. Before we get into everything else, I do want to say one of the things I'm proud about is that Jeff Saturday wasn't immediately thrown out of the window due to popular demand. A lot of people hate Jeff Saturday for whatever reason. I think he did honorably in his job as a interim head coach, and our most important player, Darius Leonard, spoke highly of Jeff Saturday's time and wanted him to be the next head coach. And so I take Shaq Leonard's words over a lot of the people that you find on Twitter saying Saturday's awful. We need to sign a petition to make sure that he's not our next head coach. That, to me, that's laughable. But I'm glad that he got a fair look. I'm glad he got more than one interview. And I'm also impressed that he's handling this situation very well. His video, if you haven't seen it, is pretty cool to watch. So I'm going to move my screen over a little bit so you can see Shane Steichen, the man. But this is the guy that we hired, Shane Steichen. He has, I think, almost 15 years of NFL experience, primarily with the Chargers and Phillip Rivers. And near the end of his time with the Chargers, He was with Justin Herbert when he got drafted and had a surprisingly good rookie year for what most people expected out of him. They moved on from the head coach Anthony Lynn, and that allowed Nick Sirianni to pull him over being offensive coordinator from the Chargers to offensive coordinator with the Eagles. And as we see, they took a team that was good and kind of brought them back to where they were just 5 years ago and brought them to the Super Bowl. And a lot of people have credited Shane Steichen and Nick Sirianni as well with being able to create a new offense with new wrinkles and be able to do something that fits around Jalen Hurts rather than just forcing their own offensive scheme onto their players. And that's what one thing that Shane Steichen said in his press conference, his intro press conference. They were asking, how's your offense going to look? And he says, well, we build it first around what the quarterback does good. If they're coming out of college, we look and see what they do good in college, and then we build it around him. If it's a veteran, we look at what they've done good in the past, and we build it around that. He says, and then after that, we build it around all the other players and what they're good at as well, like Michael Pittman he named, and Jonathan Taylor he named, and the offensive line. So I really like that out of Shane Steichen. It's kind of building with the materials you have rather than forcing the materials that you have to build something that maybe those materials just won't build, right? So I know that's kind of a complex view of the situation, but I do appreciate what Shane Steichen said in his interview. And the other thing that he said too is his philosophy is we pass to score points and we run to win games, which I think is a very good way to look at it. Is it's not ignoring that you have to score points to win, right? Like you have to score through the passing game. You can't just run and have a short game, only score 21 points and just hope that the other team didn't score more than 21 points. And that's what the Colts have been doing almost the last 5 years. With this, I feel like he's a little bit more aggressive. He wants to score. He wants to put points on the board, but he also recognizes that one, you have to pass to get there, and then once you have the lead or once you're able to, if you can't run, you're going to lose those leads. So being able to run secures your wins. It secures your efforts through the passing game, essentially. So I like that. It doesn't relegate one aspect of the offense as a primary or a secondary. It shows the importance of both of them. So one of the things that I like that Shane Steichen also said is that he has strong accountability. He has a strong plan for what he's going to do. And I think he's going to fire up the locker room. I think he's going to be someone that's not afraid to show personality and allow other players in his team to show personality. Be who they are, but also expect more of them. So I really appreciate the coaching interview process with Chris Ballard and Jim Irsay. I think they did a great job. I think you'll see a lot more teams do that in the future, depending on whether or not this pans out for the Colts. If it's a home run, I think a lot more people are going to say, okay, wait, let's just slow down the process and make sure we get someone that fits. And I hope that this is it. Obviously, there's still a couple months before we even get to see any resemblance of this product. So we'll hold off reservations until then. I think he still has to prove himself. We're not crowning him just yet, but he is a coach that I think anyone who's a Colts fan should be strongly for him being our head coach. I think he is someone that offers up a lot of just creative offensive play calling. He said he's going to be the one making play calls, and he offers up a strong leadership for that locker room, which if your head coach doesn't have strong leadership, then why even have him in the building? And then the other thing, too, that makes this exciting is the writing's on the wall now that the Colts are going to draft a quarterback. I think Chris Ballard doesn't want to lose his bargaining position or his negotiation leverage and everything like that. But they basically said, we hired him because we know that he's going to be really good with a young quarterback amongst all the other aspects that he's really good at. And I think Jim Irsay also let it slip that he really wants to get the Alabama guy, which is Bryce Young. I prefer CJ Stroud personally, um, and even Will Levis to Bryce Young. But where we're sitting at number four, and with the likelihood of us trading up to number one, I think that the Colts will solidify their young quarterback here for the next couple of months, and I think they'll be aggressive, get into that first round for him. So that's basically Shane Steichen. We're going to get a whole lot more with offense coordinators and offensive staff, and what we're going to do. Are we going to keep Gus Bradley? And so, if you're watching this far and you want to leave us a comment, tell me whether you want to keep Gus Bradley or not. If there is another corner coordinator for the defense that you think that we should go after, or who you would want to see as our offense coordinator under Shane Steichen, leave a comment about that. But other than that, drop a like, drop a subscribe, and we'll get more content out for you.